All right, hello everyone, it's silverkyle, and welcome to my weekly update for February 26th, 2024. We are nearing the end of February at this point in time, and let's dive right in to what I've been reading in the past week because I have finally finished The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, book 2 in the Wheel of Time series. And for whatever reason, just February was not a good reading month for me in terms of actually reading. What I read was really good, especially with The Great Hunt, because I love this book. I'm really having a hard time choosing between Eye of the World, which is book 1 of the Wheel of Time, and this one right here, which one I like more, because this, while it doesn't have a good beginning like the Eye of the World does, it has a slow beginning that slowly just ramps up and ramps up and ramps up until the end, and the ending is so freaking good. This is one of the best book 2s of any series that I've read. It's so rewarding, and I love how it has the slow beginning that kind of the slow beginning is the only negative, but it does set up a few minor pieces, and then it gets into the main quest and it gets a little bit more interesting, and they introduce a little bit more to this world, and we see some character development, and then you get part 3 out of 4, and part 3 really sets up everything, and it makes you hate some specific characters, so it builds up this rage for you, and it builds up a lot of other pieces as well, and then part 4 puts them all together beautifully. I love The Great Hunt. It's so good, and for whatever reason, I just wasn't reading a lot this past month, but now I kind of want to dive right into The Dragon Reborn, which is the 3rd book in this series, and just keep going. And I can't, because I have a lot of other books scheduled, and because that it wasn't really a good reading month for February, I'm really behind schedule. So I think I might have to push The Dragon Reborn until April or maybe even June at this point, because I have a lot of stuff that I want to read in April at the moment too. And that's so unfortunate because of how much I enjoyed rereading The Great Hunt. I knew it was going to be good because I read it 20 years ago, but that was a long time ago. And this was so good. Actually, no, I've reread The Great Hunt probably 6 years ago or something like that, give or take. And I feel like I've enjoyed it more again this time around. So great stuff. Cannot wait to continue on with the series, but it might be a while. So we'll see. I might just get tempted and read The Dragon Reborn anyway. So we'll see about that. I did start another book, and it was not one of the 2 books that I thought I was... excuse me. It was not one of the 2 books that I thought I was going to be reading right after The Great Hunt. And that's because that I've been having, for whatever reason, a harder time dedicating time to reading. What I said was, okay, I'm loving The Great Hunt, so it has nothing to do with the material here. But let's dive into something that is a lot easier to read, in the sense that the font's bigger, and it's not necessarily fantasy, so I can read a lot. I know I'll be able to read it a lot faster. So I decided to read The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I've never read anything from this author before. Apparently she's known for the Housemaid. I've heard of that. I haven't read it. But I said, okay, let's dive into this. It's a mystery novel, and it just came out in February as well. So a new 2024 book is always exciting, and it's small. It's under 400 pages, and I mean the font is just gigantic. Like, that's massive to me. So really easy read. I'm about 50 pages in at this point in time. That's the beginning of the book here, and that's where I am. So, and I'm really liking this. For a mystery novel, it's introduced 2 characters. We have the main character is a teacher called Eve, who's a math teacher, and she's kind of going through, on paper, the perfect marriage with this really good-looking husband, that's completely out of her league, but their actual relationship behind closed doors is just, it's not there. It's empty. He schedules, like, specifically 3 pecks per day. They have sex once a month, not once a week, once a month. And I think she's like maybe 30 years old. He's probably in his mid 30s, late 30s kind of thing. And that's wild to me. So she's kind of struggling with that. And you do definitely feel for her. But then there's the other character, which is a student, and her name is Addie. And what happened was last year, there was a bunch of rumors about Addie, the student, potentially sleeping with one of the professors at the high school. And it wasn't really definitive. So, and there's a lot more to it, and they kind of allude to this in Addie's chapters, but it's really ruined her social life. Now she's just started this new school year, and everybody's making fun of her because they heard about this. And so I really felt I was connecting a lot more with Addie. I felt really bad for her. I definitely felt bad for Eve as well. What I like about this is I have two characters that I'm specifically rooting for. And I don't know where this is going to go, because the synopsis here, minor spoilers, but I'm just going to read what's in the back here, is that things are going to start happening where Eve kind of finds out what really happened, and Addie is going to try to keep that secret from her as much as possible. So there was potential rumors of Addie sleeping with a professor, and that's not the worst of it. There's something deeper here, and Addie's going to try to make sure that this does not get out, and Eve, by the sounds of it, realizes kind of what happened. I'm really excited because I'm liking both of these characters. They're both, to me, characters that the author within 50 pages did a great job of really getting me to root for them and feel for them. And I'm excited to see where this is going to go because I have no idea. None at all. It's going to be a fun ride, I think. All right, so that's what I've been reading in the past week. Not a crazy big reading week either. It's really been slow for the month of February. So what I'll be reading after this, now that I've finished The Great Hunt, I feel like this is going to go by pretty fast, but we're going to kind of see how that goes. By the end of the week, I think I will probably start reading The Trials of the Empire by Richard Swan, which is what I talked about before. It's the third book in the Empire of the Wolf. I really want to get to that. And I think that having The Teacher, which is a mystery novel, as my kind of buffer before I move on to another big epic fantasy novel, I think that's going to work really well. I also might finish the end of the week and dive into Dune, but I don't think it's going to be this week. I feel like I'm going to kind of read the majority of The Teacher at this point in time and have a little bit of Trials of the Empire until I finish The Teacher. And then eventually I'll read Dune afterwards. But I think I might even want to kind of slide in something a little bit smaller than that, because Dune and Empire of the Wolf are relatively big books, and one's the sci-fi book, one from 1965. So I don't know necessarily how well that's going to stack up in terms of reading. I've never really read sci-fi from that era kind of thing, and I'm not really big into sci-fi reading anyways. And then you've got this one, which is a modern fantasy book, but it's still, and I really do like the writing style that Swan has. I just don't like that it's told in a first-person perspective and kind of like a diary of the main character. That's it. So that's everything that I've read in the past week, what I'll be reading in the next week. And now let's talk about what I want to do for videos for the channel. So, okay, here's the thing. In the past week, not only did I not do a lot of reading, I did one video, which was my weekly update video. That's it. I wanted to do a review for The Shining. I wanted to do an overview for an omnibus. They didn't happen. I wanted to do a review for The Great Hunt. None of this came to fruition, unfortunately. So what we're going to be doing this week is that we are going to have definitely The Shining review. I'm going to review The Great Hunt as well. I'm going to talk about my TBR for March of 2024. And I'm going to have to really look at that and try to figure out which books I want to try to tackle. I do think I'll probably read more in March because I do have a week off. So that will definitely help my reading schedule. But I'm still going to have to nail things down because I'm really behind, which is too bad, but it happens every once in a while. And then we're going to go and talk about my pickups for the month of February. And then we're going to talk about my February wrap up, where I talk about all the books that I read and kind of go over my book of the month. So it's going to be a really busy week, I think. That's a lot of books that we're going to be a lot of it's going to be book related, other than the pickups. And actually, that's going to be quite book related too. I have anything from the month of February that's not books? I don't think I do. I think it's all books. That's what happens sometimes. I don't have any games. Oh yes, I do have a game. Okay, there's going to be a few things that are not book related. So that's it for this week. And then afterwards, going forwards, I think that then we'll start diving into hopefully some more omnibus. I think there's some stuff coming out in March. There has to be. I really have to take a look at that at some point in time too. I feel like there's a lot that come out in spring of this year that I have a lot of pre-orders for. So I'll eventually get onto the omnibus route again, and then I got to start reading some too, because I've been reading just books at this point in time. I really do want to get back to omnibus and manga more so at this point in time, but definitely some omnibus and comic books too. All right, I feel like I'm just rambling at this point in time, so thank you all for watching. That's what I've been doing the past week. What have you been reading in the past week? And what you've been up to, if you've been playing any video games. I've been playing Apex. That's it. I do need to get back to playing some other... Where is that game? Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I do got to get back to this. I got to play some Final Fantasy VII, the original. Then I want to replay Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then go on to the DLC, or the Chapter 4, and then I want to go, or Act 4 maybe, and then I want to play the new one. So I've got a lot of gaming in the next little while to do at this point in time. But I do, like I said, I've got a week off at the beginning of March, so we should be able to tackle a lot of things during that time. All right, now I'm done. Thank you all for watching. You've been bearded in Beardage.